Hi, it's early in the morning. It's open for discussion. Um, I'm trying to be a bit respectful so I don't wake people up down down the hallway here. Um, it's open for discussion, and I wanted to talk about it's kind of like open mic. Open mic is basically it's open to anybody to have something to say. I had an experience before doing this early on. When I was in my when I was in a different video. Um, uh, it was actually not this account. It was a different account. Is what I'm trying to say. And and I swear to you, it was Adam Sandler from Happy Gilmore. I swear to you, he came on there, and because he didn't interact like you can on here. See, you can call me. Let's see, we'll do a screen share so I can see if I can show this. Here's me. Here's the screen. It goes indefinitely. You. Let's see up here. Leave call. You can call. Um, and then what I'm looking for is I'm looking for see I can invite people. What I'm looking for is a way to stop people because he was being a kind of a smart aleck. It was just I was trying to do. I seen somebody that I know um, did it on the radio, so I wanted to see if I could keep this thing open for 3 hours, and I did. So and not do it'd be um, ratty or crappy. I wanted it to be somewhat quality. So anyhow, I left it open and I tried my best to, and I didn't do a bad job. It wasn't the best quality, but it wasn't definitely shitty quality either. It wasn't bad, but it was enough to draw Adam Sandler on there, and he was going off. He was just screwing with me, and I called him out. I said, "You sound like Adam Sandler." I didn't say that. I said, "You sound like Happy Gilmore," and then after I kind of confronted him a little bit like that, he stopped and left. And just got all pissed. But I want to talk about things in particular that the news media isn't going to say necessarily on TV. I think Fox News, for what it's worth, people want to diss Fox, but really, if it weren't for them, there were a lot of things that have been brought to people's attention. If it weren't for them doing news, we would totally have only one side of the news, and they would be saying that Obama and the Democrats and all them are perfectly great, and everything's great. Your 401k is great. Your lives are great. You know, and then they would be able to cater to more of what they would think that you're not allowed to say on TV and stuff like that. So it's an open invitation to people. They want to say whatever, but if you get out of hand, the video is going to be over. Or unless I figure out how to kick the person off for being obnoxious, and it's YouTube, so I don't have to. If there's a way I can come back and I can uh, mute out swear words, even my own swear words. You know, I'll probably maybe I give that a consideration. But so I have only a couple things written down. Normally, you should probably be a lot more prepared than I am now. But anyways, this is just um kind of like what I planned, what I was hoping. If people wouldn't mind getting on there, on here. I know this helps me out and doesn't really help anybody else, promote anybody else necessarily. I mean, it could somewhat if you give a small description of a channel that you have or where you're from, then maybe my channel could promote you a little bit. But other than that, I just want people to come on here, discuss these things with me, and they're going to be topics that people won't talk about on TV, political correctness type of stuff like that. I don't want people to be obnoxious. So if you people want to know why, if black people want to know why we don't say the N word, it's because we think that's obnoxious. So anybody, we all are guilty, different things like that. I'm just saying, grow up, grow up. Don't be obnoxious. It's really obnoxious. It makes me think of how childish I've acted, how obnoxious I really am. You know, when I've had opportunities to talk to people, like as an adult that I should have been, I fudged up. I screwed that one up by not being an adult and seeing it through and just being grown up about it instead of a little puke. So I can relate with everybody, with all these people. So, anyways, that was a subtopic. I'm putting in the category of subtopic. It's not really a topic. So I'm just saying group discussion, be grown up about it, giving anybody the opportunity to actually express themselves however they want. I have uh, friends at all descriptions, so anybody basically applies here. We don't. We want to hear what's on people's minds. We want to know what's. It's not just the alter ego. It's a gathering of thoughts. So I don't want to just I don't want to just know my want to be one person. No. Okay, what I want is I want other people's opinion, not just my own. Basically, I give you my opinion and where I'm coming from. I go in depth because formulate opinions. I try to my best before I just um, throw something out there. Sometimes I do. We're all guilty of it, so it's funny. It is when at times, people just say something stupid real quick, but typically that's not the case. So, is now I want to talk about Obama. Is this dude mad at America and Americans? This guy portray and portrait his whole way up to where he's at now. Okay, and has been here for a while. Um, all because he hates America and the way that things have shifted here with the Democrat Party and the liberals in particular. Now I see some now people got to catch on where the liberals have talked a lot of smack. It's been a lot of siding, whether they they did something across the aisle for the Republicans or vice versa. Um, you'll see them getting more along at times and not really throwing stones back and forth. But particularly what these people are doing now kind of makes me think that Obama hates America. And I've thought that way for a while. I don't know if he's with the terrorists raised the guy and planted him, and now that's what you'd say the Manchurian candidate, where Manchurian candidate was supposed to be actually depicted somebody who was already an American. So he can't really fit there. He's got his own description if he's not really born in Hawaii, because his birth certificate there's a fraud, and they say he's not born there. He wasn't born in Hawaii. So if they applied for a birth certificate for him there, it was a fraud, and it would have, I don't know what it would have said, but it wouldn't have said he was born in Hawaii if it was real. And we know that. We know that now some of the documents that were sealed when he became president um, actually revealed that he used funds to go to school to be a student. Um, that he was a foreign student. There's also some things in his records that show at a time him and his mom were in places that you couldn't even go if you had an American, um, say you had American passport, American ID, and all that stuff. You wouldn't be able to travel into a couple of the places that him and his mom took them. So, um, me in particular, I'll tell you what, man, they want to. You have people trying to throw stones at me and just all get pissed off. But let me tell you where I'm from. Okay, I've been started off from Oregon to Okinawa, right? Then um, basically like California, New York, New Jersey, Florida, um, all these different places as a military brat. You know, I don't know why they call them brats for, because some of the most respectful people you will ever meet that are just downright honestly good people were military brats. They didn't weren't even necessarily military people that even went in the military. Just some people in particular that were just raised there, I believe, are some of the most respectful people that you'll ever meet. Will give you their shirt, you know, and are human beings. They're down human beings, in my opinion. And that's where I came from. So if there's anybody in the world that would save your ass from blowing up and something, if I thought I could help you out, I could see it. I could see it too, where it goes from any point where you're going at something that's gonna blow up, an explosion, and it just blow up in your face. I can vision that in my head. Um, just whatever, and pow, you were just trying to do good, and pow, you have it. So, a lot of the things now I don't want to get too off because this is it's supposed to be one of my key topics for right now. Is I want to say what makes me think that is say Islam, the Islamic State. Do they hate the West, right? So they hate America, our culture, and everything that we do. So basically, everybody still at this point who's supporting the guy wants to be a Muslim and is actually putting into their mind that jihadists are martyrs. So they're actually saying that terrorists, like real people that are evil, will be sent to blow and kill people up with the bomb they put on or whatever they do. These ISIS people, they burning people alive and stuff like that. They'll actually put a label of martyr on those people when they're killed. So what does that make you think they think of America and our military and our troops in particular. So, the military is a big thing, in my opinion. Uh, it's what helps your society stay safe. So it's almost like he doesn't want people here safe. Um, when that Benghazi thing happened, that really translates into my way of thinking. That that's how he would basically treat us all. And he's supposed to be the president, and he's supposed to keep everybody's butts safe. So, and then to have Hillary, she was the Secretary of State. She couldn't finish her job. She couldn't finish her job as senator, as far as I'm concerned. And now they got that Marco Rubio guy. He didn't finish his Senate term either. So you got a bunch of quitters that they have now. They're like, oh, we quit so that we could throw this presidential election thing out there. And they're not. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to do a bunch of stuff, but it always comes back on us. Like, I believe welfare reform should be um, set up for people that want off of it and really help them be able to. Don't necessarily disqualify people for food stamps right away. If they're trying, uh, and they want off of it. They don't want government assistance. They want their own stuff. So there's really a lot of discussion, not just closed-minded stuff on that. It's a very, very maybe in-depth conversation to have between now and our next who we vote for is the economy in particular. So the military in this war is now subject to discussion as far as I'm concerned now, very more real. Um, like people are living in a fantasy world whenever it came to this Obama thing, the Democrat Party, George Bush, Iraq, all that stuff. Because now it's coming into what I've always said. Because I remember I said I was from the military, so I was raised in it. So I know that this in America is not France, not Italy, and not Japan or anybody else. I'm saying America in particular. So look at Japan. Japan is one. Japan was owned by America for how long after World War II? So you say, yeah, we evil Americans for dropping the atom bomb on there. Okay, 60 years later, or how many ever years later, for real, Japan's a free democratic society with their own laws and their own rules, and they're not out of hand. Okay, maybe a little bit, but if you look at the difference between the democracy and a communism, and communism always, wherever anybody's coming from, I would imagine it would kind of give you the creeps, communism, because they really don't leave you alone from the aspect of the government. They want to be on your 6 o'clock. They want to know everything that you're doing. If you have side jobs or anything, they want you to report all that in and pay all that money to the state. And their main focus is just like what these people's priorities are on themselves and other rich people or other people that are trying to make them rich at the time. When they came in broke, poor, whatever they were, verge of bankruptcy, and now Obama's are they're wealthy. So anybody who works for us and then works on the economy, jobs, the military, all that is not necessarily looking for more than other people. So I can understand why anybody would ever talk smack about Ronald Reagan, you know, and why they kicked Nixon out, because they're for helping people get opportunities out here in the world, get the place jumping and bopping, and have people enjoying themselves. So, really, I don't understand how some people get off unless they're true tyrants, and that's what they want. They want government to be in every aspect of your life. They want it to be a monarchy or some kind of dictatorship, and they don't want people in a free democracy. Like Michael Moore, that guy Michael Moore. I'd tell anybody who is watching this video or whatever you have to do with this and you hear this, Michael Moore, every time you hear that guy say something, I laugh. I would laugh. Laugh, seriously. Wow. You know, whoa. Okay. All right. Michael Moore. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Michael Moore. You know, that doesn't make any sense, really. I'd investigate everything that he said. You know, anybody that take my advice and that stuff. The guy who goes on Sean Hannity every now and then. He's made his own a few movies. So I mean, you see where the media is at. So the media has moved us into a very dangerous place. Talking all this smack about now people talking about George Bush and Iraq this and not taking out Iran. So now that's another thing. So Obama wants to sit on his hands for the rest of his term that he's in there on Iran. It's no different. He's gone in there and said, all right, you better or else. And then the point in time comes, and then Obama's like, let me rethink this. And he tells Iran, all right, well, you better or else. And then another point in time, it's been 8 years since he's been in there. He's postponed and put off, I'm sure, at the beginning as much as he could to not have anything to have to tell Iran nothing. So they're not going to cut these people off. Russia's involved with them now, and Russia's giving them the uranium that they need to build a bomb. So, I mean, that's really scary. The guy who's their president, Nana Manajad, or however you say that, he's he was the head terrorist that took 100 Americans hostage back in 1979. I believe when Carter was in there, 79. They were held for a year, and as soon as Ronald Reagan got in there, they released the Americans held captive in Iran. Go look it up. It's real. It's true. American seeing people are forgetful of history, and now they're rewriting history, so they're going to only tell you what they want to hear. They're not going to, let you hear that Democrats mess everything up, and you can see paper. You want to talk about paper trail? So I mean, glorify themselves as masters of disaster for America. They have a saying. It goes, never allow a crisis to go to waste. So every time that there's a crisis, they get right up on it. So it's just like the crisis that happened in the Gulf there, when that happened. Obama and Democrats in their White House got right on it, but I remember them getting on it, and then just like a lawyer would do, they tell you, oh, wait a second, you can't go in there right now because this says paragraph 8-9 says that No American is allowed to even protect themselves. They have to get on the ground and lay down and you know. I mean, that's who everybody voted for. These people, a lot of these idiots were jumping up and down on cars, all that happy that they got a black guy in there. And so now, when this black president madness is over, okay, then what are you guys gonna do? Are you guys gonna go hide your heads? You guys gonna vote still? Just wondering, the people who voted for him, and did it again, are you gonna go vote for another master of disaster for America? So I don't understand, you know. So um, I'm just trying to give perspective of why I don't ever vote for a liberal, why I've always voted for a Republican. I did campaign work. I was a somewhat of a kind of a grunt for Republicans on the ground. I registered people to vote. I was very active and very involved with the Republican Party to do what I could to get these people in there. And people don't know why, because they're either they're looking for something, and I don't know how to explain that. You're looking for something in particular and you're not gonna get it. So me, I was like thinking like, oh man, did there ever be a chance that they'd vote for me as president? And I seen the many times that Nixon tried for years. So if that's what I really want, I think I should go for it. I think I should keep trying. So um, basically, I'm not gonna give up on that one, but I'm not gonna suppress America and Americans. I'm not gonna jeopardize the military. Um, and I think that that's very important. I think that they're making a very, very dire mistake by not allowing people to talk about that in particular. So they put us all our lives in danger with this. So they got the military and the FBI or whatever focusing on us right now instead of them focusing truly on our enemies. A lot of that's not true, only because things do not really work that way in the real world. But coming from Obama's position, that is where my opinion, where I would think Eric Holder, anybody who he set up, the State Department, all of them would be focused. Their focus would be on something else, be kissing butt. So instead of telling Iran what for, he's gonna be kissing their butt the whole entire time. So I hope that the guy doesn't get um I hope that we don't get another Democrat in there. And I don't really want to vote for Rubio. I made a bunch of phone calls, probably about I'm gonna say about 10,000 phone calls for Rubio whenever he became a senator in 2010. I did that for him, but I'm not so sure that I want to hear him as president even. I'm kind of just really disgusted. I've been saying that it's been a kind of it's a gag. The marijuana, the medical marijuana, and all that. People them not legalizing marijuana just all together. It's a big joke. as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. They want people, prefer people to be drinkers and drink. There's a lot of people that I think in my that's my opinion. I mean, but I guess I have to just keep it as an opinion because you can't really say who people are or anything like that, or you'd be getting them into trouble. So all I can say is that for whatever they're doing for the bad guy and for dictators and drug lords and stuff like that, I think that our society would be a lot better off if it did it for itself. It had its own like drug lord, but it's not a drug lord. It's somebody who's American who's making the money instead of some guy somewhere else in some other country. I don't necessarily want to close their borders, like keep us locked in order to be able to keep everybody else from coming in. So that's another topic. But as far as the gay thing goes, as far as that goes, it's not. I might have talked about it before, but it's not even open for discussion to me, in my opinion. I'm just so fed up and kind of sick of society because of stuff like this. Everybody asks me about what I think about it. I think it's sick and wrong. Whenever you have a guy go in to somebody's bakery and there are two guys that are gonna get married in a gay marriage, and then they want. See, and that's why I like YouTube because I'm gonna tell you what these people did, what the other medias aren't gonna say. These guys wanted a penis. There's something like a penis on their cake. So that right there is so offensive and so just appalling. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, and I try not to judge. I swear, I try not to judge the best that I can. But it's really hard. It's really hard when you have people that are blatantly just blowing it for everybody else. And that's the same type of people that will screw something up and now nobody else can go on the merry-go-round ride or whatever because somebody did something and they effed it up royally for everybody. And that's what you have right here. So I really do not want to see that anymore. And this is open for discussion. If anybody can leave comments or anything on this video, you can tell me a time maybe you might want to talk to me. Um, my name is Chris. So if you want to talk to me on an open line sometime, you can suggest a time when you might be available. I'd like to get maybe more than just one person on here. We'll figure out on that time comes, we'll figure out exactly how to give each person um, their minute or however long to talk because this is a broadcast. Like I said, I did one for 3 hours one time. Adam Sandler got on there. It was screwed up, so I don't want it to be. I don't want some jackasses to come on and screw the thing up. But I would uh, not mind having other people come on here and give their opinion. So if your opinion's not the same as mine, because every, everybody can possibly hear this. Not necessarily a million people are going to view this. 5 people might view this. However long it is, they might look at the length of it and be like, oh, do I have an hour to watch this? Pretty interesting stuff. But like I said, if your opinion's different, it's better that you come off and explain in depth and just be grown up about it. Okay, like you would anywhere else, like if Fox News or CNN or MSN or whoever invited you on, come and discuss or talk. I would appreciate it if you keep it very adult. I don't necessarily erase this for a person or anything like that. So that's another advantage YouTube has. But so that's your open discussion. Um, that's where I'm coming from. Now I'm trying to make people, instead of trying to make push people away, I'm trying to make people really understand what other people are thinking out here, um, and where their opinions sit. And I'd like to gather all those opinions up because I think it is time for true transparency of us all to be able to be unified and to be one. So you look at all the outcasts of the world and really, really know who they are. Aside from the people who want things to work smoothly and beautifully here, because that's the only thing Israel or Japan or America or any of these places like that are trying to drive at, is they're trying to get to be very, what do you say, calm, relaxing, have a nice atmosphere, and they don't want people to come in and shoot up the thing in the theater or anything like that. So it gives the government more credence whenever you have creeps like that are plotting out and planning stuff like that. So now tell me how, if the TSA or whoever them, um, you have the, before I go real quick, that last thought, let me say, um, what was it George Bush signed first? Was the Patriot Act? Okay, how did the guy, if there was enough, because they left paper trails too. People who were planning and plotting different things. And it says in the Bible, I believe this for a fact, that there's a code to every single event, everything that ever happened that can be stopped. You can change history instead of like using a time machine or warping yourself or anything like that. You can decode things like Nostradamus, all these other different events that are to come. What I believe is I believe you can decode them and stop them. If you everybody has We all have an opportunity to stop 9/11, but we didn't. For some reason, we just let it happen. You know, we could have stopped World War II, the bombing in Hawaii, um, whenever they got us involved. When the Japanese attacked Hawaii, we could have stopped that because there's a code. There's a code to everything. And instead of decoding it, they're letting it happen. So I truly believe that. And they even pointed that out when the guy, I'm pretty sure it was a guy who killed some people in uh, the theater there in Colorado. And I'm like, if everybody had a gun, let's say it wasn't mandatory, but let's say it's just common. Everybody has a gun. You weren't mandated. I didn't force you to have one, and just everybody knows everybody has a gun. It's Wild West. Like the guy wouldn't have lasted. He wouldn't have lasted as long as he did. He'd been he'd been toast a lot quicker, and the people who he shot up would have had a gun. If I get shot, I would appreciate if I had a weapon at least, where I can defend myself against somebody. I definitely don't want to be left out cold. Like what they did. It's chicken shit. What they did in Benghazi to Christopher Stevens and the other three Americans there. That was an ambassador. But I always been saying since then that I don't think any of us are any different than the ambassador. If any Americans in trouble anywhere in the world, whatever friction that causes, you better save the American's ass behind. You better go and get them. And that's been my opinion ever since that happened. They have 50 Marines that are at every consulate are supposed to be at every uh, embassy. If the Marines leave, anybody left there has to leave with them. You have to find a spot for those 4 Americans that they left there, because, in my opinion, you're gonna leave four Americans to guard our embassy there against thousands of people, thousands, and they did what they could for however long that they could until they were eventually ran out of ammo or whatever and were ambushed. And the guy was, and they won't tell you this on the news either. Christopher Stevens was ramrodded. They did what they did to Gaddafi. You can go on the internet and you can look at what they did to Gaddafi. That was brutal. But they did the same thing to Christopher Stevens, our ambassador. So, and you got other countries that are retaliating against the new entity, and some that don't. That ISIS piece of garbage. And I don't even know how they get off using that name, because ISIS was an Egyptian. I believe it was an Egyptian god. let's look. Let's look it up real quick. Let's see. Egypt. ISIS. Isis. Egyptian period. Isis is a goddess. I was gonna say goddess, but I didn't want to say that. I wanted to look it up and make sure it said goddess first before I open my mouth. From the, what is that? Polytheistic pantheon. She was first worshipped in ancient Egypt, Egyptian religion. That was when they had, pretty sure they had more than one god. Then it come down later on that they have just one god, stuff like that. But they're different. It's a different religion than the Jews believe, and that Christians later on came to have. But what do you say? The Jewish religion and culture has been around as long, or if not longer, just as long as the Egyptian one. So that's why they're both ancient. Uh, the new Christian and Muslim faiths are brought about way later on. They're not. Um, they do not go back as far as Egyptian and the Jewish, and the Aztec, also all them ancient China and all that. They're not as old as that, not at all. Just study the time periods or whatever. But anyhow, so I was just wondering, there's a way to decode everything, and that one they pointed out that there was surely a way that you could have decoded the guy's intentions and been able to have got him off of the street and put him in a psych ward for sure. Um, Having expressing that many different signs of craziness going on, from the guy who shot up the theater in Colorado, what could have been easily um, had been stopped, but they didn't. They let it happen. So I don't know. But anyhow, so that's what my intention with my video. It's open for discussion. I will continue in the next video I upload. Thanks. Peace.